Troptions legal accusations have been proven dismissed. Thank you for listening to the Crypto Investar Podcast. My name is Daniel Reinhardt, and I make content around Troptions, around TroptionsUnity, around the entire Troptions ecosystem, QuantumXchange, everything to do with real world assets in regards to Troptions. I think that's what this podcast has been dedicated in for. There were legal accusations, legal cases, litigation cases previously in the previous years regarding Troptions. And when you make a Google search about Troptions, if it is legit or scam or trusted or worth investment, in most cases you will find out that they will bring you some articles regarding to previous court accusations that were imposed onto Troptions. Ladies and gentlemen, when I learned about Troptions, I actually saw those articles because I did deep searches and read almost every article on Google to really get to understand what Troptions are and how it works and everything. I think one of the first articles that I read was about the so-called buying a house scandal that involved Troptions. So I really had to send in an email and ask what happened exactly. But it was a disagreement between two people, not Troptions. Troptions was not part of that kind of a sale or that kind of a disagreement. It was a disagreement between the buyer and also the seller. But I think for it to really get visibility and have some they had to really flaunt Troptions as if it was the cause of a problem. Because initially, Troptions is backed up by real gold. That is the honest truth, and that's the core technology of Troptions gold. It is built on a blockchain, on a Bitcoin blockchain, and backed up by real gold mines. Now, the problem was that actually the seller did not fully understand Troptions gold. Because remember, Troptions gold has not been trading on public exchanges, just the way you see Binance, just the way you see Coinbase, the way you see which other exchange? Whitebit. It has not been on any SEX as in CEX, not SEX. As in SEX exchange, centralized exchanges. It has not been there. So it has been basically a peer-to-peer tradable token. So when you accept it as a method of payment, you have to look for another person in the community that believes in Troptions gold and also accepts it. It's like if we take off, how do they call them? Forex bureaus. Yes, if we take off Forex bureaus and you are in a country where Nigerian Naira is not accepted, right? But you have it. You have to look, it's not because it's not money, it's money. But in the community, it is not accepted. So you have to find a few people nearby you or in your community or in your country that actually know about the Nigerian Naira and want to own it and believe it's money. Not everybody will. So it is what happened to this lady that actually sold a house. She accepted 30% in Troptions gold, but I think she had no clear understanding on how Troptions gold works. The technology is there, only the exchanges where you can go in and swap and get your USDT, your Bitcoin, it was only unavailable, but it was money, with the technology and with the community that actually accepts it, because there are people who bought houses, there are people who bought cars, there are people who bought bikes using Troptions gold. So as a matter of fact, that Troptions gold was not listed on SEX, it didn't actually make it an illegal cryptocurrency or unviable one. No, but simply the seller did not understand Troptions gold, whereby, okay, it's not a crime if you don't understand it, but because it will come with consequences. So the consequence was that not understanding the technology, not understanding what she will do with her Troptions gold, because a community, well, it might not be that big in thousands, but there are a few hundred people that actually accept Troptions gold, that when you actually meet them and talk to them, you're like, I have Troptions gold here, what can we trade, what can I do? You have land, you have this, oh, I need this, oh, I need that. You can easily exchange and have property and maybe exchange it into cash later. So those were some of the few cases that were actually dismissed by the court. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this podcast, it's going to be short. I want you to go to the main website of Troptions, that is troptions.org, and read those documents from court that there are actually three that show these cases were dismissed. Troptions Incorporation has just uploaded these documents on their website. I've also written an article on my website showing these documents, and they are there. I've also written an article on Medium, so you can go to Crypto Investar with an A.com and read that article in full detail. And I think other cases were against Garland Harris, the late, the founder of Troptions. And when I really analyzed it, I understood it and why those investigations were done. Because remember, Troptions as a technology started way back even before Bitcoin. So when he started talking about it, people were not really understanding it. You know, it was not really understood. He was misquoted, he was misunderstood. So when Bitcoin came in and actually became a household name, people believed that every cryptocurrency that would come would behave like Bitcoin. People believed that every cryptocurrency that would come would definitely behave like Bitcoin. So when Troptions gold was built on the blockchain network, on the Bitcoin blockchain, people expected that it would behave the same way Bitcoin does. It would be a speculative token posted on Twitter, shared on hashtag, influencers talking about it, hyping it all over, being listed on every centralized exchange and decentralized exchanges, pumping it and dumping it. But Harris said no. I've made this cryptocurrency to reserve value, to reserve gold value. I've made this cryptocurrency to be used as money, not to be speculated on. If you want to buy something, spend your Troptions gold, let a person accept it, let another person accept it, let another person accept it, until it is in thousands and thousands of people for it to actually be immediately exchanged into money. Okay? Because it is an asset, not just a token. It is an asset on its own, just the way you come with gold and the person exchanges it for cash. He does not ask you what that is, but he already knows that it is an asset and it has a value, and it is, it is variable. It carries its own value. So people misquote him because Troptions gold was not listed everywhere on the exchanges. So whoever accepted it and actually was not able to exchange it immediately into cash, they thought Troptions gold was a scam. As a matter of fact, when you check online, there's nothing like Troptions gold is a scam or Troptions is a scam, but people are like, I'm unable to exchange my Troptions gold. Back then in 2019, people were posting, 2019, 2020, people were posting about their inability to exchange their Troptions gold. They see the value is increasing, but they cannot exchange their Troptions gold into cash immediately. However, ladies and gentlemen, all that is history. And I don't really think that it should be shaken up about the history of Troptions gold, the history of people being unable to exchange their Bitcoin gold into cash immediately, dump it and then run off. Troptions right now, under this new management, they are building more than an exchange. They are building something extremely far than an exchange. I think you should be a little bit more patient. If you want to get into the Troptions ecosystem, you should get in right now before things are actually very expensive for you, because QuantumXchange is coming up to provide all the liquidity to all the Troptions assets, so you can be able to interchange. I call it interchange. Interchange TroptionsUnity to Troptions Gold. Interchange Troptions Gold to TroptionsUnity. Interchange TroptionsUnity to Troptions Pay. Interchange X-Troptions to TroptionsUnity. Interchange X-Troptions to Troptions Gold. Interchange Troptions House to Troptions Gold. Troptions House to TroptionsUnity. Interchange everything, and then USDT and Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies that are largely listed everywhere. It is going to happen. Not just that, but being able to buy real world assets with your crypto, with your Troptions, whether Troptions Gold, TroptionsUnity. But I think TroptionsUnity is the tokenizing assets, so you have to change your Troptions Gold and Troptions whatsoever to TroptionsUnity for you to be able to participate in tokenizing real world assets. I'm super excited to see what is going to happen, and I think very soon we should be really having these conversations with people from QuantumXchange, with people from Troptions team, with people from Bat Bank and everywhere. This has been a very, very short episode just to clarify on why Troptions Gold, TroptionsUnity are actually very legal and they are approved to operate. So there's nothing like legal accusations still in existence. All legal accusations and investigations were 100% dismissed, and they do not they are nowhere in existence. I actually wanted to read something here for you before I actually say bye. I wanted to read something here for you before I say bye. So according to the company, the court records confirm that no judgments were entered against Troptions. No judgments. Judges did not decide anything about this. No fines or penalties or sanctions were imposed against Troptions. There are no admissions of fault that were made. Troptions do not admit that they made any fault, nothing like that. So apparently there is no ongoing or pending litigation that is remaining related to all these past matters, unless if you have any other accusation about Troptions right now in 2026 we can then listen in, but all the investigations were actually dismissed. I also want to say that it is not really news to have investigations on financial institutions, financial companies. No, because authorities are there to regulate. If they feel like they don't understand anything, they have to investigate, and it is their right. And also companies have to abide by the rules and regulations of particular entities, particular countries. So you coming up and saying, oh my God, this and this and that and that, investigations must happen, unless if you've not really been tight into business to really understand how things work, regulations and all that. But for us who have been here, who have been into litigations, who have been into courts of laws, who have been really interacting with the lawyers, You can be accused of something, you can be investigated, you can be questioned, as long as there is somebody who feels that maybe something is happening and they don't actually understand it. Guys, stay alert, stay curious, do your own investigations, give it time, understand, digest, don't be quick to make decisions, and let's build this multi-asset ecosystem. Bye for now. Let me see you soon in the next episode.